everyone, and today I'm going to be softly whispering or softly speaking, I guess, about just random stuff, and it's just going to be complete rabble or ramble or whatever comes to my head, I guess. So let's get started. So lately I've been really interested in black holes. I've actually been just kind of looking at library books and looking online and seeing different types of TV shows and not movies, but yeah, like documentaries and stuff about black holes, because I think they're kind of cool. They're probably the most terrifying thing in our universe, in my opinion. There's a lot of scary things out there, but black holes, they kind of have a mystery to it, and we know a decent amount about them, but we don't really have any proof, or we don't have any really, I don't know how to put it, not much evidence, or I guess we just don't know a lot about them. But we do know that they aren't really holes, but they are something that are highly concentrated or with extreme density, but they aren't like wormholes or actual holes. More so, black holes are pretty much things that are pressed down to, they're compacted pretty much. So I think anything can become a black hole. For instance, if the Earth were to shrink down to the size of a peanut, or if the sun were to shrink down to the size of Manhattan, we would get a black hole. That's due to gravity collapsing in on itself, I believe. So it's really just a highly compacted or a very dense object that goes beyond that and forms a black hole. But it's not really a black hole. We really just got that from I guess the way they're depicted in pictures. They do look like a black hole, but the reason why they are black is because they are so dense that light can't escape, and that's pretty magnificent within itself, that light can't even escape a black hole because its density is so great and its gravity is going to pretty much infinity. I mean, they haven't really proved that density or gravity has reached infinity, since we can't really study one up close. I mean, that would be disastrous. But yeah, so black holes, they always kind of interested me. I always love talking about them. I don't really have any hard facts right now on me, but I don't really know why I looked down to check, but I just thought today I'd kind of talked about some random stuff, and black holes is something I kind of, I don't know, like. I really get geeky or dorky around them, because some people don't even know they actually exist. They think they're just science fiction. And when I tell them that they're real, they kind of freak out, and they don't believe me sometimes. My one friend didn't even know they existed, and when I told him they did, he didn't really believe me until he looked it up. But he really didn't believe me when I said there's a black hole, a supermassive black hole, in the middle of our galaxy, the Milky Way. And that's a pretty cool thing about it, because every galaxy really has a black hole at its center, especially a supermassive black hole. And there's a really cool video on YouTube called size comparisons of black holes. I highly recommend you watch it. You might be kind of terrified and shocked to find out how big these things can be. I think the biggest one on there makes our whole entire solar system so insignificant. I mean, the universe is so big that it really makes anything look insignificant, even the biggest things you can imagine. And I believe the biggest black hole that we know of has the mass of 20 billion of our suns. And so if you take 20 billion of our suns, of our sun, and you can compact them down and squeeze them really tight to a certain point, you will get the biggest black hole that we've so far studied. Another really cool thing is that I learned we are soon to take a picture of the first black hole, which is going to be Sagittarius A. And Sagittarius A is the black hole, the supermassive black hole that's in the middle of the Milky Way, or our galaxy. And that's pretty neat. Most people don't know that we don't have any pictures of black holes, but we actually don't. All we've been seeing really are just depictions of them, or people, drawing them or recreating them or animating them. But we've actually haven't really we haven't taken a picture of one yet. So I guess sometime this year, they said they're going to point every telescope at Sagittarius A, and they're going to take the first picture ever of the black hole at the center of our universe, which is really cool. And I can't wait till that happens. I really don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully soon, because I would love to see it. That kind of just freaks everyone out when they realize there's actually a monstrous black hole in the center of our galaxy. It's fine for us. I mean, it's been like that for millions or billions of years. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't really know how long. But since the beginning of the creation of our galaxy, I'm pretty sure. And as you may know, there's hundreds of billions of stars in our own galaxy, and there are 100 of billions of galaxies in our universe. And don't quote me on this either, but I'm pretty sure that each galaxy that is out there has a black hole at its center. But I'm not entirely too sure, to be honest. And fun fact, actually, is I don't know when in the future, but way in the future. I mean, after humans are long extinct, or we've somehow managed to travel in space and find another Earth-like planet. But we probably will be extinct by this time, because way in the future, Andromeda, which is a galaxy close by, I think it's the closest galaxy by the Milky Way, Andromeda galaxy is going to collide with our galaxy, the Milky Way. And in that event, everything will be thrown around, and I'm sure everything will leave its orbit. I haven't really did much, I don't want to say research, because I feel like research is a thing you say when you're doing something for a very long time and you're really reading. But I've watched a video probably on it like once, but I just remember it. I just know that I'm pretty sure that when they do collide, Earth isn't going to, if it doesn't crash into something, I'm sure humans are definitely going to die from one way or another. And yeah, so the black holes are going to kind of like circle around each other for a while until they get right in the middle, and then they'll make this huge, I don't know, supernova. Supernovas are something that happen when stars die, and the star will collapse in on itself and create a big huge explosion called a supernova. But sometimes that's how black holes are actually formed. If the star is big enough, it has a big enough mass, and if it collapses enough, it can form a black hole or a white dwarf, or just, explode into a supernova. And all those gases that are left over will create new stars. I don't remember what I was talking about. Andromeda. So yeah, Andromeda in the future will collapse with the Milky Way, and they will kind of be conjoined. And another thing in the future, way in the future, after humans have left the Earth, or possibly when it's extinct, the sun will start to not grow. Yeah, I guess grow. The sun's radius will grow, and it'll actually go all the way up to Earth or Jupiter. It's like right when the sun starts to die, and our sun is actually pretty young, I think, and it has millions and millions more years to go. But when it does start to die, it will start to expand. That's the right word, expand. And when it expands, it'll engulf, what is there? There's, not Venus. It will engulf Venus. What's the first planet? I can't even think about that. It's gonna drive me nuts now. Anyway, the sun's going to expand, and I forget if it's going to engulf the Earth and go all the way to Jupiter, or if it's gonna kind of stop at Earth. I can't remember. Either way, the Earth's atmosphere is going to burn up, and the Earth's crust is going to turn into a desert, and no life will ever, there's no possible way life can exist in that extreme temperature. And especially if the sun engulfs the Earth, I'm pretty sure nothing can live, unless you're Superman. I'm a big fan of Superman, but I haven't read any comics. I'm the type of kid that likes the movies, and I watched the cartoon Justice League, but I haven't read the comics. I watch videos on YouTube about the comics, so I'm a little educated, I guess, on superheroes and villains through YouTube and through movies and through cartoons. But when it comes to comics, I'm not completely sure about, because I don't really read comics. I always found comics very pricey, and I always just prefer books or movies. And getting off the subject of black holes, my first book series I ever read was, I think, Hunter Brown. I think it's, Hunter Brown and the Secret of the Shadow. And it's actually a Christian book series. But at first, my friend gave me the first book, which was The Secret of the Shadow. I opened the book, and it had all these symbols on it. And I told him, later on, you know, I thought it was actually like something like another religion, or I don't know, Satanist, or I don't know. So I told him that, and he said, no, it's actually a Christian book. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was reading it, and the book is really, really, really good, and I highly recommend it. And when I was done with it, I was very surprised, because I've read some Christian books when I grew up, and they were just way too corny, you know, they were just right to the point, you know, like, they were just corny, and, I didn't care for them. But Hunter Brown has a very subtle way of putting Christianity in there. So you really don't know that it is Christian unless you do research and find out it is a Christian book. But anyway, highly recommend it. It's about a kid named Hunter Brown who one day pulls a prank on a school bully. The bully finds out. They run an alleyway with his friends in a dumpster. The dumpster gets accidentally locked, and the janitor lets him out. This janitor. And the janitor says, basically, I won't tell on you if you pick up a book for me at the bookshop, because that isn't weird. So Hunter Brown and his friends go and get this book for this janitor, and when they go to return it to the school, they get in all sorts of trouble because the principal finds out. The principal says there's no such janitor that you're talking about, man. Hunter has the book, so I'm gonna, you know what, it's gonna take forever to explain it this way. In the long run, he opens this book, he goes to this other world called Solandria. He meets this girl named Hope, which is a great love interest in books. I don't know why. I'm not into romantic books, but a story, for me, a really good one, always involves a sort of romance, I guess. So, like, I'm not talking anything about, like, you know, I don't know, like Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson is awesome. That's actually the second book series I read, because I watched the movie, and I loved the movie, Percy Jackson, and everyone who read the book was freaking out, saying, that was horrible, that wasn't what the books did, that's, you know, it sucked. I went to go see the movie, and it was awesome. I loved it. I loved the plot. I already loved Greek mythology, so I said, you know what, I might as well go and read the books. And man, I'm glad I did. I'm still reading Rick Riordan's books today, and I just finished his new book, something about Apollo. I just finished it. It's The Trials of Apollo. I finished the first book, and I just bought the second book. And usually I read books at college, so that's gonna help between classes. And yeah, Percy Jackson's an awesome series. But as I was saying, the relationship between Percy and Annabeth was so cool to me. And I don't know, I just think there should always be like a romance. I don't know. It keeps me intrigued, or more interested and invested in the characters. And of course, I like my stories to be always fictional, you know. I don't really care for nonfiction too much. I don't think I've ever read a nonfiction. Well, yeah, I have. Nonfiction really confuses me, though. Like, I know there's nonfiction, like history books and there's science books, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't include, like, for instance, To Kill a Mockingbird. No, that's fiction. See, I'm getting really confused. I'm really tired right now, I'm sorry. Yeah, How to Kill a Mockingbird is definitely fiction. I don't know why I just thought that was nonfiction. I guess because I'm thinking in terms as it could be real, therefore it could be nonfiction, but I'm so tired, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's a fictional book, yes. I'm learning. But yeah, Percy Jackson, check that out. It has a kid. It's so embarrassing. I have to go to the Barnes & Noble, and I have to go in the kids section every time. But that's where the Percy Jackson books are. That's where the Rick Riordan books are. And it's so embarrassing that I have to go up to the desk and ask the lady if she can, each time I just play really stupid. I'm like, do you know where the Rick Riordan book is? And I have her escort me to the children's section because I don't want to go in the children's section because I have a partial beard and I don't want parents to be freaking out that there's some 21-year-old kid in the kids section looking at kids' books. So I always have to play stupid and act like I don't know where it is so she can escort me back there. I don't know. I like the way he writes. It's simple to read. Maybe I'm a simple person. I'm not the greatest with vocabulary. I feel like, well, I guess I don't want to seem like I'm reading pop-up books, but I think I'm okay. But I don't think the teen section in Barnes & Noble really gathers my attention too much. I usually go for the books where the character is around the age of 15 or so, and when he's kind of discovering powers or something about himself, and it leads him to a mystery or a adventure or something like that. So I kind of like those type of books. Yeah, I think there was 5 Percy Jackson, there were 5 Heroes of Olympus, and then there were... I wasn't too interested in the Rick Riordan books with the Egyptian mythology. I never got into that, really. I remember reading the first book, and it was just okay. It was enjoyable, but I don't know. I really do like Greek mythology, and I was really, really invested in Percy Jackson, and even in the Heroes of Olympus series, which I really liked. I was always sort of looking for the for Percy Jackson because I really liked this character, and I really just wanted him to tell the whole story. But I did respect and love the way that Riordan kind of went from person to person to tell their perspective on every other chapter. So yeah, I thought that was cool. I was actually gonna play with this, but it's too late now. We'll save that for another video. Oh my gosh, it's 27 minutes. I've been talking for 28 minutes now. Okay, 28 minutes, wow. Well, I've just crashed my computer by making this video. But I feel like I kind of want to talk more, so maybe I'll make a part 1 and then I'll make a part 2. That's probably what's going to happen. So what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, so today I went to the multimedia room in my college, and they had on Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and I love that Marvel movie. That's probably one of my favorite Marvel movies. Iron Man was great, the first one. The second one was kind of third one was okay, but the first Iron Man was pretty good. Captain America 1 was complete bogus. focus, in my opinion. It was alright. I mean, it was alright. You could watch Captain America 1 and you can be entertained, but I found it very, it's going to be really stupid to say unrealistic because it's a superhero movie and I know it's fictional, but it was kind of unrealistic, you know, like in World War, was it 2 or 1? I'm pretty sure he was in the Second World War, Captain America. Either war, it doesn't matter. Either war, they did not have laser guns, so that kind of took me out of the movie. And I don't know. I just don't like the villain. I didn't really like it. He was alright, and it's still an enjoyable watch, but the second one, Captain America 2, is where it's at. You have a great plot, a great story. It was an interesting enemy, because he was working for S.H.I.E.L.D., and no one really suspected that S.H.I.E.L.D. was being run by Hydra. Hopefully I'm not butchering the plot right now. I'm pretty sure he was running S.H.I.E.L.D. though, because even Nick Fury was taking orders from, I don't know his name. I know it was Robert Redford though, so I'll just call him Rob. And yeah, that movie was awesome. It has some awesome action scenes when Captain America was on the elevator fighting, and when when Nick Fury was in that car chase. That was a cool scene. Bucky Barnes, or the Winter Soldier, he was always suspenseful and had a nice amount of attention through each scene, and I think the movie's just really, really cool. So I also like the Hulk movie. Here's one of my probably most unpopular opinions about what Hulk movie I like. There are there's probably a lot of versions of the Hulk. There's one with Lou Ferrigno. There's one with, I don't know his name, and it's the 2001 Hulk with the Danny Elfman score, which I'm about to talk about. And then there's one with the other guy, I don't know his name, but that was like 2009, 2011, I can't remember. He was fighting an Abomination at the end. And then there's the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, who plays in the Avengers. And you might have seen him more so in Thor 2 or 3. Thor Ragnarok, to be more specific. But my favorite, and this is definitely an unpopular opinion, is I really enjoy the Hulk 2001. And right now, people who like the Hulk are probably all flying right now saying, why do you like that horrible movie? It was awful. They should have never done the comic book like transitions on it. I don't really know what else they can complain about. I mean, there were moments, I guess, that were kind of cheesy. I don't know. I really like the Hulk 2001, and I think they did a wonderful job on giving the Hulk a story, because when you think about it, that must be really hard to give the Hulk a story. I mean, the Hulk doesn't really talk, well, except for what you see in Thor Ragnarok. But are you really going to make a full-on movie with the Hulk talking like a 5-year-old kid the entire time? So they really, really made a cool Bruce Banner. I was about to say Bruce Wayne. I'm like, no, that's Batman. Bruce Banner, I'm pretty sure. They made an interesting Bruce Banner character, and I think the acting in the movie was really good. It had Sam Elliott as the general. Thought he was excellent. It had that one girl from Labyrinth that I don't know her name, and I don't even know the guy who played the Hulk. I don't even know the guy who played the father of Bruce Banner, but he was amazing, and I know he's a very famous actor, but I think he gave excellent acting, especially towards the ending when he was talking to his son, Bruce, and I thought that was an amazing scene. There's so many, as a kid, I watched that movie. I'm literally going to say 200 times. I've seen that movie 200 times as a kid, and I'm talking about within 2 years, I've seen that movie about 200 times. Once I get hooked on a movie, I will watch that movie over and over and over. It doesn't really happen as much now, but when I was a kid, I used to binge watch movies. I don't know why. My first binge watch of movie choice was Nightmare Before Christmas. I knew all the lines. I actually wanted to put a play on for my teacher, and oh god, that brings back so many bad memories. No, we never did the play. No, but I had hope. Anyway, I binge watched The Corpse Bride. I think you're seeing a connection here, a Tim Burton connection. I've binge watched. What's the other movie? I don't want to say Dinosaurs, the 2000 movie. Dinosaur 2000 movie. I've seen it a lot of times, but it wasn't a binge watch movie. Spider-Man. Oh my god. Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I've binge watched that movie, and I've collected every single thing from that movie when I was a kid. I was obsessed. My my curtains, my bed sheets, my pillowcase, my cans of soda, stickers on the wall, my wall being painted. It was a unhealthy obsession with Spider-Man, and I had that for a while, about 4 to 5 years before I moved on to something else. And of course, the Hulk. The Hulk was the other obsession. The Hulk 2002. And if you connect all those movies, you have to ask yourself, what do each of them have connected with them? The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Hulk, Spider-Man, and The Corpse Bride. I think The Corpse Bride was when I was going through my emo stages. I didn't really go through an emo stage, but I don't know why I like that movie so much, but because today I watched The Corpse Bride and I don't really care for it, but back then I really liked it. I still kind of like it, but I'm just saying not as much as I did back then. But each of those, the connection between them all is Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman is an awesome music composer. I believe it's a composer. I'm going to stick with that. He's an awesome music composer. He's composed many, many songs I like Edward Scissorhands. He did the Hulk, Spider-Man, of course. He did, Night Before Christmas. I think he even sang some of the songs from Jack, the Pumpkin King. And I can't even go down the list right now because I'm really tired, but he's done hundreds, if not thousands, of another one is Pee Wee Herman's movie. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get off this camera, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this movie and this movie and this movie. And just right now, I can't remember anything. But look him up. Look up Danny Elfman, and you might be surprised at how many movies he did the music for. And you might find your favorite movie, and you might find that he composed the score for it. And I don't know if that's why I watched each of the movie. Like I said, each of the movie had an addiction or obsession for me. The Hulk. I do like Spider-Man, but the Hulk was something entirely different for me. I found I really liked the plot, but I think as a kid, I really liked the music, and I liked the deepness of it. I really liked how the, I don't know the director's name, he was like, kept filming these plants, and he had this really weird scenery in it, and that kind of like, I don't know, it was tripping me out, but I really liked it, I remember. And with the music, it was like really, I don't know, something else to me, and I really, really enjoyed it. And The Hulk 2001 is the reason why I find poodles to be really creepy. And that's because in The Hulk 2001, the father of Bruce injects 3 dogs to go after the Hulk, and he injects a bulldog and a poodle and then something else. And the poodle stuck in my mind in my childhood and haunted me. And ever since, I had nightmares of poodles standing on their hind legs and opening my door and waiting beside my bedside and staring down at me. I just realized this is ASMR. And I'm so sorry if you're awake thinking about that, because at least that would scare me. I told it to my friends, and they kind of just laugh at it, but when I think about it, it kind of terrifies me, actually. That's a pretty awful thought to think of. Especially as a kid. Yeah, I didn't really know how I went to sleep at night. Nonetheless, though, I really like the Hulk. I mean, I know I keep saying that, I don't give examples, but I like the angry moments, you know, like when he was on the floor and he was getting beat up by that one guy by the government, and he turned all green and you grabbed his fist. He says, "You're making me angry," and he like kicked him out the window. I also love the desert scene where he busts out of the military base, and that whole sequence was really cool. He busts out of the military base in the desert, and he beats up these tanks, and then he jumps into these rocks. It really wasn't just a movie about smashing and breaking stuff and saying, "Hey, I'm strong." It wasn't a movie about just pure romance between Bruce and I don't remember her name. Anyway, it wasn't just a movie about one thing in particular. I think, if anything, it was a movie about Bruce Banner and how he had to deal with being the Hulk and the repercussions of being the Hulk and getting mad. You know, I'm just completely butchering this, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anyway, my very unpopular opinion is that I like the Hulk 2001. Man, I have many unpopular opinions when it comes to movies. For instance, just like movies I used to watch with my sister. I really like Nancy Drew, 2007, with Emma Roberts. That's probably a really, really random and weird thing to say. Now, is it one of my favorite movies? No, probably not, but it gives me a lot of nostalgia. even though it's from 2007. I like the music in it. I remember the last song they played is When Did Your Heart Go Missing? Something like that. I think it's by the band called Rooney. And then there's another song in there called A Nice Day. And that song was by Persephone Bees. And those two songs are really cool. Actually, I've also discovered the song by the Gorillaz called Dare, and I did like that for a pretty long time, and no one in my family really liked that song, so then I kind of stopped listening to it. It's not like my family controls what I listen to, but I don't know, maybe they kind of have like a, I don't know, if I'm watching like Donnie Darko, which is my favorite movie, period. I love Donnie Darko. It's my top 5. It's my top 3. I love the movie, and you guys heard that before. My mom, she hates it. My sister, I don't know what she thinks about it, but I think she doesn't like care for it. My dad, he finds it confusing. He doesn't like it because he doesn't understand it, and I don't think he cares for it. And I still love it. I still watch it, but I do watch it. But if my mom ever comes in the room, I turn it off, because if she comes to the room, she's probably likely going to sit down just to see what I'm watching, because she trusts me a lot of times when I pick the shows. Like, I showed her the Sherlock from, Sherlock, that's a whole other, Sherlock's the best. Sherlock from the UK, with Benedict Cumberbatch. I showed her Merlin from the UK, and I showed her so many TV shows, mainly from Netflix or something else. I was the first one in my family to find Sunny in Philadelphia. The first episode I watched was Nightman Cometh. And she likes most superhero movies like X-Men. She likes a lot of my movie choices, except for Donnie Darko. So it's not like she controls what I like or dislike, but I kind of tried to please people around me before helping myself. I guess that's kind of a weird thing. Weird way of saying it, but yeah, so if someone doesn't like something and I know they're going to come down and sit on the couch right next to me, I don't want to be watching something that they don't like, because then I'm just going to be like in this eternal state of, what are they thinking, or do they really hate it? Are they like really judging it right now, or do they really, like my dad will always he'll always like sigh like, and that's how I know that he doesn't want to watch something, or he doesn't want to listen to something, so I turn it off. But anyway, I don't even know where I was. I think I was talking about Nancy Drew, which is really random. I'm probably talking about that because I just found the movie tonight, and I was watching a little bit of it. I might just do a whole video dedicated to the movies I have, because, well, unless I want to make like 10 parts to this video, I would have to make it really, really brief in each presentation, which is going to be very, very hard for me to do, because I want to talk about each movie, and I have a lot of movies. Alright, but anyway, it's reaching 15 minutes now, or I think I started the video around 4 minutes, so probably around 44 or 45 minutes right now into recording, which is nuts. This is the longest I ever recorded, and I swear my computer is going to break, so if anything, I just talked to myself for 15 minutes or so, which is a fun thought. Yeah, so hopefully this will be definitely 2 or 3 parts, and this kind of makes up for me not doing much on my channel lately. I'm actually I was getting over a sinus infection a week ago, and now I'm getting over another one, and now I have to go to a specialist because I have infected sinuses. So yay me. But that's the reason why I'm not really uploading, because I'm not really feeling well, or I'm usually very tired, or mostly because I'm trying to study for probability and statistics and college just in general. So I'm sorry if I don't upload as much, but thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this far, comment, I don't know what should you comment? Comment, I don't know, comment true fan, TRUEFAN, and then I'll know that you watched this far, or you just skipped through it and came to the ending, which that's okay too. I don't blame you. This is 2 parts, but thank you guys very much for watching, and hope for you to tune in next time. Alright guys, see you later.